So today we'll be looking at the issue happening with the United States of America, Israel, and Iran. I mean, almost everybody knows that those countries are currently at war against each other. I mean, it is two against one, United States and Israel against Iran. And why? According to President Donald Trump, he claimed that Iran is planning to have a nuclear weapon, right? And they are willing to stop them from doing it. I think some weeks back they were in meetings, they were having talks, they were discussing on how to ensure that they stop it. But according to Donald Trump, they did not stop the plans of building the nuclear weapon, and that is the reason for the war. Now, away from why the war started, I mean, we know that the war has taken a lot from Iran. It has taken away the life of the country's supreme leader, although another person is there right now, and a lot of resources, facilities have been destroyed. Apart from Iran, Israel, and the USA, other countries have also been affected by this war, even countries that are relatively peaceful, the likes of UAE, the likes of Qatar, those countries in the Middle East have been affected by this war in one way or the other. Now, coming to Nigeria, of course, Iran, US, Israel, and other countries in the Middle East are far away from Nigeria. They are far away from Nigeria, and nobody expects that Nigeria will be affected in any way. And that is why a lot of Nigerians are currently blaming President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They are blaming the government because they believe the government is trying to cash out from this war by increasing the price of fuel, by increasing energy prices. I mean, the price of gas has increased, the price of fuel has increased. I mean, a lot of people are shouting, oh, Nigeria is far away from these countries. Why is it affecting Nigeria? What is Nigeria's own in this war? Why are we saying that fuel has increased because there is war in Iran? What has Nigeria got to do with the war? Why their grievances may be justifiable? Because fuel in the last 2 weeks, fuel has increased twice. We used to buy fuel for about 700, 780 something at our filling stations, but today fuel is over 1,000 naira, and this is basically because of the war in Iran. So this is why people are crashing out. They are blaming the government because they see no connection between the war and the price of fuel in Nigeria. Now, this video is to explain why Nigeria is actually affected by what is going on in Iran. One thing we need to know is fuel is a global commodity. It is a global commodity. Every country in the world uses fuel. And hope you know that fuel is just an end product of crude oil. Crude oil is a raw product that produces fuel, that produces kerosene, produces other energy products. And Iran is one of the most powerful countries when it comes to oil. Iran is one of the most powerful countries, one of the most strategic countries when it comes to oil globally. Now, let's establish the fact that crude oil, the price of crude oil has increased in the global market. Before the war started, let's say from 2 weeks before now, crude oil was about $64 per barrel. But since the war began, the price of crude oil has skyrocketed. As at 2 days ago, it was about $120 per barrel, which means the price doubled within barely 1 week. Although now it has come down to about $94 per barrel, but then it is still very much costly. All right, so that has been established. Now, how does this affect Nigeria? Many may say we have crude oil in the country, we don't import crude oil, we have enough crude oil and all of that. But one thing we need to know is our crude oil products have been used to borrow money. So most of the crude oil products that you see us have, they are not even being used in the country. We are exporting them to the countries that we owe. Yes, that is the fact. Even the crude oil product that have not been gotten, we have used it to borrow money in advance. So there is no way our crude oil products are for our own use only. We export our crude oil products because we have used it to borrow money. So we are just using our crude oil product to pay debt. Yes, that's a fact. And we would say that, oh, but we have Dangote refinery. Before now, we used to refine our crude oil overseas. But now we have Dangote refinery to help us so that we won't be buying fuel at a very costly price. Now, let me tell you this. Dangote refinery imports crude oil products. Although the NNPC provides crude oil for Dangote refinery, but at different times, Dangote refinery has said that the crude oil that NNPC provides for the company is not anywhere near enough. It is not enough. Even the agreed amount of crude oil that they said they were going to be giving him is not enough, and they are not even delivering up to the agreed amount. Yes, so Dangote refinery is left with no other option than to import crude oil from United States, from countries that have crude oil, so that it can be made available for us here. Now, Iran, just as we said earlier, Iran is a very, very important country when it comes to oil. Since the war began, there is a passage that we call the Straits of Hormuz. The Straits of Hormuz is a very notable passage through which a lot of fuel tankers, a lot of fuel vessels pass through every day, and it is located in Iran. Now, since the war began, the Strait of Hormuz has been shut down. That means there is no passage for oil vessels. There is no passage for oil tankers. Let's take this illustration. Let's say you are going to Oshodi. For Lagosians, they know where Oshodi is. You are going to Oshodi from Ogba. Yes, from Ogba, you are going to Oshodi. And there was a news that Ikeja has been blocked. Alausa has been blocked. Ojota has been blocked. That leaves you with no other option than to probably go and pass somewhere longer that will take you so much time, that will take you so much resources, that will take you so much energy. Now, if you were carrying a product from Ogba to Oshodi and you had to go through several places before getting to Oshodi because of the blocked road, definitely there is no way you would sell your product the amount you are supposed to sell it if those roads were not blocked. No, that is just a simple analysis. That is a simple analysis. And in this case, it's not as if there is even any other serious route for them to pass through. So they have to wait till the strait is opened up again. Definitely, it will affect every country that deals with crude oil. It will affect everybody that deals with crude oil. So we can't blame the Nigerian government at all. We can't blame the Nigerian government for the increment in the prices of fuel. Because now, even though we have Dangote refinery still buys crude oil from the country at the international benchmark rate. Day before yesterday, the CEO of the Dangote refinery was still talking about it. That they buy crude oil in Nigeria at the international benchmark rate. They don't use naira to buy it in Nigeria, they use dollars to buy it in Nigeria too. So if the international benchmark rate is $120 per barrel, Dangote is buying crude oil for $120 per barrel in Nigeria. And Dangote is a businessman. He wants to make money. Nobody wants to build a refinery as huge as that and not want to make money. It is a business venture. So definitely, the fuel price would increase. It would increase. So this is the reason Nigeria is also suffering from the war that is going on in Iran. It is not because the government is wicked. It is not because Dangote refinery is bad, is not sensitive. It is just the simple fact. The Strait of Hormuz has been shut, and that has caused the price of crude oil to increase within few months. I mean, within few weeks. Automatically, anybody that has crude oil, anybody that purchases crude oil now is buying it at a very, very expensive rate. Definitely, fuel will increase. That is just a simple analysis.